So, what if I told you that putting on a matching pair of sweatpants could actually, like, trick your brain into working faster?
I mean, it sounds completely absurd, right?
Totally. It sounds like a joke. But science is increasingly showing that the clothes you wear when you think absolutely nobody is watching are secretly dictating the trajectory of your entire day.
Yeah, it really is this fascinating biological and, well, psychological hack. Because we spend all this time optimizing our workspaces and morning routines.
Right. The standing desks, the coffee.
Exactly. But we completely overlook the cognitive impact of the actual fabric touching our skin.
Yeah. And if you are sitting on your couch right now, maybe wearing some mismatched college hoodie and, I don't know, old gym shorts, you are definitely going to want to pay attention.
For sure.
Because today we're taking a deep dive into the psychology of coordinated loungewear.
Mm.
And we're moving way past fashion here. We're looking at how matching your top to your bottom fundamentally alters your brain chemistry, your daily productivity, and like even how you process stress.
It's wild. Because for generations, we operated under this extremely rigid binary concept of getting dressed.
Oh, yeah.
It was basically a culturally enforced trade-off. You had your sharp professional clothes, the stiff collars, the rigid waistbands, structured blazers.
The dreaded era of hard pants.
Yes, hard pants. And they made you look authoritative, sure, but they functioned like a mild physical constraint. Like you had to suffer just a little bit to project competence.
It was basically the price of admission for looking like a professional. And then completely on the other end of the spectrum, you had your absolute oldest, softest clothes.
Right, the ultimate comfort zone.
But those were strictly behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Like if the FedEx guy knocked, or worse, your boss called a surprise video meeting, you were practically army crawling behind the kitchen island so no one would see you.
Oh, totally. We've all been there. But the last few years completely shattered that binary.
Yep.
Right. And well, we don't need to rehash the entire remote work revolution. We all lived through it. But what's critical to understand is how that shift fundamentally rewired consumer psychology.
How so?
Well, once people experienced what it was like to work without physical constriction, they just flat out refused to go back. But they also realized that living in ragged pajamas was taking a toll on their mental state.
Right.
So they demanded a solution that didn't require a compromise.
And the fashion industry really had to scramble to figure out how to engineer that. It's like everyone suddenly demanded a cheat code for getting dressed.
That's a great way to put it.
Like, we wanted the reward of looking polished without any of the physical pain. And that's where the modern matching set really evolved from. Because we aren't talking about the bulky, heavy cotton gym sweats from the 90s, right?
No, far from it. The engineering behind modern coordinated sets is highly intentional.
What goes into it then?
Well, we are talking about advanced fabric blends with four-way stretch, tailored silhouettes that trick the eye into seeing structure where there really isn't any.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And breathable materials that regulate body temperature, its versatility literally woven into the garment.
So you can just wear it anywhere.
Exactly. You can transition from a spreadsheet to the grocery store to a long-haul flight, all while maintaining this baseline of physical ease and visual polish.
But, you know, keeping that physical ease is only half the equation, right? Because where this deep dive gets genuinely mind-blowing is what is happening inside the brain when we put these sets on.
Oh, absolutely.
And that brings us to the whole concept of the cognitive battery.
Yes. Let's talk about decision fatigue. The human brain is an incredibly powerful engine, but it runs on a finite daily supply of cognitive energy.
Yeah.
So every single micro decision you make, what route to drive, how to word an email, what to eat for lunch, burns a tiny fraction of that energy.
Okay, I actually need to stop you there because I hear this all the time. You know, the whole Steve Jobs wore a black turtleneck everyday thing.
Sure, the classic example.
Right, but my daily uniform is basically whatever clean t-shirt is on top of the pile and maybe some jeans. Taking 2 seconds to grab a mismatched shirt does not leave me feeling mentally exhausted.
I get that.
So, are we really claiming that grabbing a pre-matched set saves enough brain power to actually move the needle?
It's a completely fair skepticism. I mean, if you only look at the physical act of grabbing the shirt, it seems trivial.
Right, exactly.
But decision fatigue isn't about the physical effort. It's about the subconscious processing load. It's the open tabs in your brain.
You open tab.
Yeah. When you look at a closet full of disparate items, your visual cortex is rapidly assessing patterns, colors, fit, and social appropriateness for the day's tasks.
Even if I just grab the top shirt.
Even if you just grab whatever is on top, your brain still did the scan. By selecting a pre-coordinated set, you eliminate that entire sequence of subconscious background processing.
Oh, I see.
You are literally preserving glucose in the brain for more critical analytical thinking later in the day.
Okay, so it's less about the literal time saved and more about eliminating a background app that's draining my battery. I could buy that.
Exactly.
But eliminating a decision doesn't really explain why a matching set actively makes someone feel better. Like mismatched sweatpants eliminated decision too.
True. And that is where the concept of visual order comes in.
Visual order.
Yes. Our brains are hardwired to seek out patterns and symmetry. It's an evolutionary survival trait. Chaos meant danger, order meant safety.
Huh.
So when you look in the mirror and see a coordinated outfit, your visual cortex processes that symmetry and balance. It sends a signal to your amygdala, the emotion center of the brain, that things are organized and under control.
Wait, so just the act of seeing myself in a matching color creates a neurological feedback loop.
Precisely. You subconsciously internalize that visual organization. You look put together, so your brain assumes you are put together.
That is wild.
Psychologists actually call this enclothed cognition.
Enclothed cognition. I love that term.
It's great, isn't it? It is the phenomenon where the symbolic meaning we attach to our clothes actually alters our psychological state and performance.
Like literally changing how we think based on what we wear.
Right. There are famous studies on this where people performed complex cognitive tasks better when wearing a doctor's lab coat compared to a painter's smock.
Really? Just from the coat?
Yes, simply because they associated the lab coat with careful, rigorous attention. The same mechanism applies to loungewear.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
When your clothing looks intentional, which a matching set inherently does, you adopt an intentional mindset. It boosts self-esteem, elevates mood, and drives motivation.
So you are practically hijacking your own neurochemistry through your wardrobe.
You are dressing your brain.
That is just wild. And, well, if enclothed cognition is real, it perfectly explains the massive productivity cliff so many of us fall off when we try to work from home in our actual sleepwear.
Oh, the dreaded pajama trap?
Yes, the pajama trap.
The pajama trap is neurologically devastating to your focus. Our brains rely heavily on state-dependent cues.
What do you mean by that?
Well, for years, you have conditioned your brain to associate your softest flannel pajamas with sleep, relaxation, and shutting down.
Right.
If you stay in those clothes at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday, your brain is flooded with signals to power down regardless of how much coffee you drink.
So you think you're living the dream, working from your bed, but by 2 in the afternoon, you're practically catatonic, just staring blankly at a spreadsheet.
Exactly, because your environment and your attire are at war with your goals. Formal workwear used to be the trigger that signaled high-stakes performance.
Right. Putting on the suit meant it was go time.
Putting on a stiff suit to sit at your dining room table causes a completely different kind of cognitive dissonance. Coordinated sets have become the ultimate transitional tool. They serve as a physical boundary.
It's like a warm-up routine. Well, when an athlete does a specific stretch, it's not just about loosening the hamstrings, right?
Yeah.
It's a neurological trigger that says it's time to compete.
Yeah.
Putting on that matching set is your brain's warm-up routine for tackling the inbox.
That is a brilliant way to look at it. Establishing that physical boundary creates structure, and the human brain craves structure to mitigate anxiety.
It makes total sense.
And we also have to factor in the modern reality of the sudden video call.
Oh my gosh, the sudden cortisol spike of the Zoom ringtone.
Yeah.
It is a very real modern phobia.
It absolutely is. And think about the physiological reaction when that ringtone chimes and you are wearing a stained t-shirt.
Panic. Pure panic.
Exactly. Your heart rate elevates, you experience a mild fight or flight response, and you scramble to find a clean button down.
Right.
A coordinated set acts as an anxiety buffer. You exist in a state of perpetual camera readiness.
Oh, that's such a good point.
You have the confidence of knowing you look visually balanced and entirely professional without having sacrificed any physical comfort. You remain in a parasympathetic, calm state.
Which brings us to the actual physical mechanics of the clothes themselves. Because if visual order and physical comfort are dictating our mental readiness and buffering our anxiety,
Yes.
then the exact details of the fabric and the color aren't just aesthetic choices anymore. They are functional requirements.
Absolutely. The materials and colors are the delivery mechanisms for all this psychology. Let's start with the tactile feedback, the fabric.
Okay.
Your skin is your largest organ, and it is packed with sensory receptors that constantly feed data to your nervous system.
Right.
If you wear a stiff waistband or a scratchy tag, those receptors send low-level distress signals to your brain all day long. It's an ambient physical stressor.
Like a pebble in your shoe that you try to ignore, but it's quietly making you irritable.
Exactly. So to achieve true enclothed cognition without the ambient stress, the fabrics must prioritize softness and breathability.
So what are brands using instead of heavy cotton?
We see a massive shift toward cotton blends, bamboo fabrics, and modal materials. Bamboo, for instance, is naturally thermoregulating. It adjusts to your microclimate.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. When your physical body isn't fighting to stay cool or ignore a stiff seam, your mind is entirely free to focus on deep work.
Okay, so the fabric neutralizes the physical distractions.
Yeah.
But what about the visual side? We touched on the visual order of things matching, but I really want to dig into color psychology.
It's a huge factor.
Because the idea that the color of my sweatpants can change my mood feels almost like magic. But I know there's actual science behind it based on our sources.
There is deep evolutionary biology behind it. The color of your matching set actively influences your autonomic nervous system.
Seriously.
Yes. Let's take blue, for example. Exposure to blue light wavelengths has been clinically shown to lower blood pressure and reduce heart rate.
Wow.
It triggers the parasympathetic nervous system, our rest and digest mode.
Because we evolved under blue skies and near blue water, so our ancient brain basically says, we have water, the weather is clear, we are safe.
Precisely. So if you are anticipating a chaotic, high-stress day of back-to-back meetings, consciously choosing a blue coordinated set is a strategic intervention to keep your baseline heart rate lower.
That is so smart.
And green operates similarly, tapping into our biophilic response, our innate connection to nature, which reduces eye strain and mental fatigue.
What about the person who defaults to black? Because I feel like half the people listening right now have a closet that just looks like a black hole. Is that a bad thing?
Not at all. Black serves a very different but useful psychological function.
Okay.
Good. Culturally, we associate black with authority, sophistication, and invulnerability. It acts as an emotional armor.
So it's a power move.
Exactly. If you have to deliver a major virtual presentation and need to project unshakable confidence, a black matching set cues your brain to adopt that authoritative posture.
What about other colors?
Conversely, beige and earth tones create a grounding effect, mimicking the warmth of the natural environment, which is highly stabilizing.
Nice.
And pastels reflect more ambient light, which actually softens your perceived environment and promotes gentle relaxation.
Okay, so let me make sure I'm translating this into practical advice for you, the listener. If I am sitting at my desk, overwhelmed by a looming deadline, the color I choose that morning shouldn't just be random.
Right.
Reaching for the blue or pastel set instead of the stark black one could literally help downregulate my nervous system while I work.
Yes. Aligning your color choices with your specific psychological needs for the day turns your wardrobe into an active tool for emotional regulation.
That's incredible.
This is the core of what psychologists are calling comfort as self-care.
Comfort is self-care. I like that.
We usually think of self-care as bubble baths or meditation apps, but it's really about how we support our nervous system throughout the mundane parts of our day. Dressing intentionally in clothing that feels soothing and looks balanced is a profound daily act of self-preservation.
It is